Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream here on the twitch.tv slash the Xisuma, playing on Hermitcraft. Don't you even say it. Don't you even say it. We are playing on Hermitcraft today. I want to go into my creative world and jog my memory because we're doing a project today and it requires me to know exactly what we're doing. So I've got to go to the redstone world and head in this direction. Yeah, this is right. That's what we're looking for over there. Ugh. Accidentally pressed my Windows key. Oh look, it's still running. Huh. Yeah, this is pretty simple stuff. Mostly run off of observers, which is what I remembered, but probably a lot of observers we're going to need. And then this tech right here is not too noisy. You can waterlog them, but not in the Nether. Yeah, so we're gonna do something with a lot of observers. The tinted glass is already in place on a lot of maps. Are the bulbs necessary here? The bulbs are the light source, aren't they? Yeah, there's one lighting up over there. Uh-huh. So that's like a dim light source, okay. Yeah, the bulbs are actually really necessary, now that I think about it. Is this some leftover stuff? We've got noises in the air. We've got loads of people in chat as well. Sorry, I'm just getting into it and getting myself set up and ready to go. This should be looping, which it is. Is that supposed to be a comparator? Aha, so we might go with that, but I think we're going to go with the observers because of what I want to do today. Yeah, just needed to jog my memory. All right, so we're gonna craft a whole bunch of those as well as other things. Let's get on there. Thank you for bananas in chat from Happy Pancake and Tilda MC, letting me know that we're live. Streaming at an unusual time, early on a Monday. I don't normally stream at this time, but I'm gonna take Tuesday off tomorrow, and so today just felt like good timing. We're kind of stood next to the area where we're going to put these maps, right? We're working with a 3 deep space. And I think we'll do some sort of like wavy snake pattern that's mirrored on either side. Originally, I wanted to do this in this area, but the fog glass was picked instead. I was kind of picturing like bigger space to work with. I'm not sure if that is intentional because there's some additional pillars there. This almost feels like it might be semi-intentional, but since it's not a lot of decorative work, we'll be okay. And I've kind of realized that I think this one over here, this has been built up a lot, but it shouldn't be an issue. Maybe we just do something slightly different for this one. Oh, then there's other redstone there. Okay, so this one might not get the treatment. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Oh, it's upside down. What happens if you sit on it? If you get on the saddle, you know? Dan Duck Goose is here for 2 months. Thank you so much, my dude. We also got Free Phase coming in for 45 months. Incredible stuff. Thank you so much for the amazing support as always, people. Gem is online too. You should ask her. Gem is not online. I don't know what made you think she was online. Daffs, thank you for tuning in. 3 streams in a row. That's awesome. You can make more space, says Posku. I can't make more space because this is the design. So we're working with what's there because other stuff has been put over here, right? There's redstone. And the redstone may conflict with how we're going to set this thing up, is what I'm saying. We'll keep it in mind. So I'm going to need some basalt blocks over there. It's interesting how there's no pillars on that side. I'm sick of walking around. That is how it's been done in each of these tunnels, except this one. And now I'm going to sneeze. Where's my mute button? Whew, there we go. Vintage Thief says, hey X, hey chat. There's a bit of redstone for the audio player with Impulse's greeting. Yes, yes, that's right. And that's in the way. So, in order to work on this, we need to clear space underneath. We've already got, like, the secret entrance here. Right, and then we've got the Hole of Death. I want to keep that there, so we're gonna dig around a little bit. Try not to disrupt things, you know? Right, and now we get to see this bit here. And we want to go underneath this glass, and we want to be safe when we're underneath it. So everything's going to need to come down another layer. So we're going to need to go grab crying... Actually, crying obsidian, not at that level. At this level, we need a lower light. So can you see how the light just came through from the crying obsidian? So we need obsidian, we need stone bricks and dirt, right? Then we need bulbs. Okay, got to be careful here with what I'm breaking. And then, so like, material and bulbs, observers, observers again. So we need like a lot of space. Can I just walk around here? Can I get out? I can. There we go. All right, we've got Shah Slab here. 40 streams in a row. Amazing. Thank you. Thanks for continuing to tune in. I got a hot cup of coffee today. Give me a coffee. Does X have a thing on the screen that makes tunnel rats come up on his screen, or is it just us who see it? It's not on my screen. It's an overlay. Like the thing that isn't actually on because I didn't turn it on. Like in the bottom left corner, that's an overlay. It's overlaying the video feed. All right. Redstone supplies. Now I know I've got. Well, I think that's it actually. That's it. So if there's not observers in there, I ain't got observers, right? So we'll grab ourselves plenty of redstone, cobblestone, and quartz. Now quartz I may need for comparators. That being said, I do have a healthy amount, so let's... Isn't it 2 redstone to 1? So I can do 2 stacks there. I'm going to need more than that. So another 2 stacks and another 2 stacks. I think about that much. Which will probably mean we need all of this. Kind of guesstimating the numbers a little bit here. Nothing wrong with a good old guesstimation, I think. Lady Artistry says, ads suck, man. They suck, but they also make the world go round. I mean, you seeing ads is why there is a creator economy. So if you like all the content, the reality is the ads make it happen. Okay, so now we want way more of cobble than anything else. 3 piglets in a coat. Good to see you, my dude. 35 months now. 35. That's awesome. You are currently being watched by 14 chickens and a cat. What? Are you like in the garden with the chickens? I was listening to a podcast about farming, like homegrown food and stuff today, and they were talking about like having chickens and all these different vegetables that you can grow and stuff. Oh, that's a camel husk that hangs out back there, if you heard that sound. Yeah, a friend of mine has chickens, and they gave me some eggs, and talked about how, like, basically, if you eat eggs on a regular basis and you got chickens, it's, like, a good investment. I think I would enjoy being a gardening person. It's just... I'm trying to be a music person first, you know? Yo, we got Grain here for 55. Chilling in the Burger King. Ugh. Not my kind of cuisine, that. But welcome to the stream. Alright, look at that. That's a healthy amount of observers for this project, isn't it? Oh my goodness me, I should have been drinking. This is getting cool already. What's going on? I need to drink more of this coffee. You need to hear the slurping. You made fresh cookies with your chicken eggs. Good little pets they are. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I brought a pack of eggs the other day from the shops. It was all they had left. It was £3. And I was just like, whoa. That's like pricey. Really pricey. Usually they're about £1.80. But they didn't have those. They had the expensive ones, you know. Okay, so I think my redstone box here, my redstone in my ender chest will go far at this point. We need some stone for a platform. I said we needed some things, right? I was trying to think through the project so that we didn't essentially shorthand ourselves a little bit. So some stone for a platform. We'll turn it into stone bricks. Now, copper bulbs we're going to need a lot of. I kind of overlooked that. We may go to a trial chamber to extract some more. Or get blaze rods from someone? Like, does anyone have a proper blaze farm yet? Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. We can probably do some math in the Nether to figure out roughly how many we need. That's a possibility. I think that was kind of it. Oh, no, wait. Obsidian, diorite. This is why I took my time to think things through. If you don't do that, you know, shortchanging yourself a bit. Something I'm a little bit too used to. It's 10 diorite here. There we go. I'll take more than I'm going to use. Would I use more than that? Probably not. Maths with Xisuma. That's it today. We're doing math. As a farmer myself, I can't eat eggs unless they're from your own lot. Supermarket ones taste so poor in comparison, says Northern Rose. Interesting. I didn't notice a difference, but then I just boil them. Like, a lot of the time I have eggs, it's very convenient just to boil them and then chuck them in the fridge. And then, like, crack them and put a couple of cold eggs into a meal. So, I don't know, like, what the most flavorful way to experience eggs is, but that's the way I experience them. You love my base this season. Thank you, thank you. I started building the next build on the street here as well, which is good. Right, you see that darkness coming in? That means we've sealed this area up. And we're looking at a 3. Oh, and I wanted to make the pillars come down. 3 by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 3 by 13, 26, 39. But then take away 1, 2, 3, 4. So 35 blocks. 35 blocks, but the other sections are going to have, like, more or less. Let's round it up to 40, 80, 160. We need 320 bulbs, right? That's what we need. Hey, look, I got this book and quill, and I was supposed to put it away, but now we'll go in here and put 320 bulbs. Scrambled eggs are your thing. I like eggs anyway. You know, however they're done, I like eggs. Eggs are like a superfood to me. Actually, speaking of superfoods, you know, every now and then some sort of food becomes super popular and talked about like it's this new dietary answer to all your problems. But like eggs are just, one of the best sources of protein you can get, and absolutely full of nutrients. Full of them. They're basically blueprints for little animals if you think about it. So it's got all the stuff that you need. That might not actually be that much of a helpful analogy, but I like to think of it that way. It's like, that's going to grow up into a little chicken and then lay more eggs. You're a huge fan of egg salad on toast. That sounds great, yeah. But with some good bread. I couldn't be having that with no Tesco's cheap white loaf. Ugh. Some proper loaf with that. And it does sound nice. Why are we talking food? I don't feel hungry. I just had a meal. I've worked out. Done the morning routine, you know. You had sunflower seeds all over your YouTube. What? Do you mean your algorithm? Like, you're getting recommendations for them? Oh, is this going to act like a little way for us to travel? What's going on here? Why is there, like, a big wall of this that I don't think anyone ever sees? I think this is like one of those building process things where you just start, like, you build the big magenta box and then you do the next thing after. I can't build like that in Minecraft. I would come back here and rip these blocks out and be like, they are not visible, they are not being seen, they have to be stored and stashed for future use. That's how my brain works. It probably costs me more than it saves in terms of time, but that's alright. Jem made it to stop Gar seeing her. Yeah, I see. But still, I would have done that with like a temporary block. I kind of want to go up there. I don't really want to use an ender pearl. Okay, we can do this. Again, like, here's some blocks that aren't actually visible in the final build. But I'm not... Oh, these are probably decorative. And now I realize that this doesn't lead anywhere. Like, why am I trying to go through here? If I dig any of it out... Okay, I think what I could do, actually, is dig myself a path. Yep. This will actually be quite handy just to get between the different areas. And it'll be temporary, so let's go grab some stone and turn this into, like, our temporary path between areas. If we do it that way around, it's, like, spawn-proof, I guess. Collect all the blocks, collect all the blocks. Well, let's find the gumbo hole. What's the gumbo hole? Gumbo is a type of dish, isn't it? Type of food. It's like one of those leftover dishes where the recipe comes from like having leftovers and making something new out of it. I'm gonna need more of those as I build these up on the other side, so let's get quite a few of that in. Then I want a bunch of stone buttons to stop things from... Actually, that's not really a bother right now, is it? Yeah, stone buttons is not a bother. Okay, I'm going to make a lot more slabs because we've got to bridge the middle area. I reckon that's probably going to do us. Alright, let's build some pathways. You made a cake today, nice. Watermelon is especially brilliant if you're sick. Get hydrated. I love watermelon. A good ripe watermelon is fantastic. You can get watermelon where it's not actually quite at the right ripeness yet, and that can be a bit disappointing. But you get it at the right ripeness and all is good. Alright, so on this side, this is where we encounter all this other redstone in the way. And we have to build out like a whole platform over here, so... a little extra caution, but there's a path to get from here to there now. We'll go to the other side next. Watermelon is great, but there's crazy people who put salt on it. I can understand that. So, it's like in professional eating, one of these tricks. I mean, I'm not sure if it actually comes from like professional eating, as in like competitions and stuff. I'm pretty sure it does come from competitions, but some people do this anyway. Is that like if you're doing an ice cream eating contest or a fry eating contest, those two things help you get through it. So if you're eating lots of ice cream, eat French fries in between. If you're eating lots of French fries, eat ice cream in between. I think is the idea. This is because you're changing like your palate. So you're going from sweet to salt, and it like refreshes your palate. So next time you have a treat that's like really sweet, break it up with something salty, and you'll sort of like reinvigorate your taste buds in between. And the same can be true in reverse, depending on what you're eating. And it's just like a little hack that they use to get through the extraordinary amounts of eating that they sometimes do with these eating competitions and stuff, right? It's a cool thing to know. So putting salt on the watermelon, to me it makes sense, because sometimes sweet and salt together, they actually work. They can work really well. Whew. Right, we got a lot of prep to do today and a lot of adventure because of those bulbs that we need. I'm not sure that we'll get around to... Let's see, what is it after that? The redstone building? But we'll get as close as we can for now. And we get to hang out and have some waffles now because the prep's done. Now we just got to grind, people. Are we having a food talk stream today? Is that what's going on? You dip your fries in ice cream. That was the example I was going to come up with. Although it wasn't ice cream, it was milkshake, right? It's the mixing of the salt and sweet. It's cool. Gosh, now I want watermelon, says Destiny's Discipline. Gosh. Such an animated word. I can see you just like, oh, just all of a sudden. You're awash with the need for watermelon. Apparently salt in sweet things enhances the sweetness flavour without adding more sugar, etc., says the Life of OL. I think that might be during the cooking process. Of cooking videos that I've watched, there's this common theme of like every time you add ingredients, they say add a pinch of salt, and they talk about how it makes the flavour come out. Very common thing that all the top chefs talk about doing. And I do it in my own cooking, but I can't say I know what the difference is, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, I'm doing the thing they said. Fingers crossed it works. We left behind the building blocks for prepping these areas. Like, we've got to remember to put in these blocks along the edges, but another time we can do that. Cody, thank you for 5 streams in a row. Welcome back to another one. Root beer float. Dang, now that's a sugar bomb right there. That's a sugar bomb. Here's a funny little story for you. So I had some lentil bean curry today. This is one of my mum's recipes. She makes them batch and I chuck them in the freezer. So I've got 2 portions in a little curry tub. One on top of the other, right? And I forgot to take one out and defrost it last night. So I had to do it this morning. I mean, I would have encountered the same problem. So, like, the fact that I forgot last night is actually kind of irrelevant. Hey, I wonder if Tango's mob switch thing is on, because that might actually be helpful with what we're doing right now. We'll go check that out. Oh! That could have been really bad. We'll go check that out. We'll check it out right now. So 2 of these tubs, like, I went to take them out, and 2 of them are frozen together. And I was going to put it back, and then I thought, that's just a problem for future me. So why don't I just deal with this right now? And I really struggled to get them apart. I tried putting water on them. For some reason, I didn't think of, like, wedging in a knife and prying them apart until later. I don't know why I didn't try that first. That would have probably been a good starting block for such a problem, but, you know. I chose to do what I chose to do. So I run some hot water over it, can't really get them to separate. And so I started to think about it a little more, and I was like, okay, if I go and if I can like wedge the top of the bottom one off the lid, then the fact that the lid is stuck to the other one, that's okay, because I'm going to eat the curry on the bottom, so it won't be a problem, and I can just put it in the freezer, right? The only problem is, when I separated the lid that was on top of the tub from the tub, okay, the curry inside was stuck to the lid and not the tub. Picture how strange this is. You've got like your curry inside the tub with the lid on it, then you've got the one underneath the lid of that, and then you've got the curry frozen to the lid, and the tub is completely separate. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I'd successfully taken the tub off the bottom, and the curry stayed stuck to the lid. Can you picture that? Can you picture that? It was so weird. I was just like, what? I could understand if that thing had, like, frozen upside down. Maybe it's something to do with, like, the dynamics of heat or the freezing process. Like, somehow it wasn't stuck to the closest part around it. And yeah, that was a real, like, what kind of moment. What's going on here? So at that point I was like, I really need to wedge these apart. And then I was like, why don't I use a knife? And you know what? A knife, boom, straight away, just wedged them apart from one another. And I felt silly after because I was like, should have done that straight away and instead of spending 10 minutes running hot water over it and them trying to pull it apart and stuff. Oh, it was... wait, we were going... I just forgot. We're not going back here. We're going to Tango's mob switch. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, make the lid the plate. Well, I couldn't have even done that because the lid was stuck to the next curry tub. It was so strange. Congratulations on your win, King. You fought valiantly, says Northern Rose. Are you referring to the curry? I can only assume you're referring to the Great Curry Lid Battle of 2026. Right, if we were to turn Tango's thing back on... Oh! That was sound. Is that because they're over there and you can just hear them? Oh, they make sounds. They make loud sounds. Now, we can wait for 60 seconds. The thing is, we're going to be in the Nether the entire time, so I might as well just duck down here. And, hang out. Just don't leave the Nether for the next 60 seconds, right? It's that simple. Hey, Jax says, how are you? Good question. I'm feeling just fine, thank you. So, bulbs at this level here. The observers have to be placed facing upwards, I think. Oh, look at that. We can just about do that. So we'll probably put in those facing upwards, then the bulbs, then the chain underneath might not be too difficult to do. It kind of suggests that I might not want to... Actually, I could build the observer level below, then place those, and then put the bulbs last. That actually works. Okay, so this is going to be our signal level. Let's call it the signal level, because that sounds cool. This is where we're going to have the observers go back and forth to inform the light levels and bulbs above. Ironically, that will be one spot where there won't be a bulb, because there is a pillar above it. And then it means this level here needs to be the floor, which we're going to make out of stone bricks. Okay, so basalt pillars be next. They be next. Lil Bro Codes coming in for 3 months. Hey X, you were talking with Ren about a mod for renaming chests and scribble anvils, right? Yeah, I passed that on. It wasn't a mod. It was a... Okay, we were talking about mods and data packs. The data pack idea for renaming chests has been passed on. And... what was the other thing? The scribble, I suggested those things to the scribble author. I think they had heard both of those suggestions before, and so they... one of them is in the works, the other one I'm not so sure, but... you know, they know now, so it's in their hands. And maybe we'll see those things in the future. Never. That's where it's going to be. No. Basalt is kept as something else. There it is. There it is. We got it. We got it. Yes, we get ourselves some of these pillars. Oh, they're actually all like raw basalt. Okay. Jello is unnatural to me. Jello is not great texture. What is natural? I mean, Jello is just made of things like everything else is made of things. But I know what you mean. It doesn't grow in the wild, does it? It's like one of our creations, not Mother Nature's. Hello? No, Jello, you mean. Jello is like edible slime, yeah. I like Jello, but it has to be... I wouldn't want to eat it on its own. It's got to be with something. It's got to be a part of something, I reckon. What's that number we calculated earlier? 320. We got to get 320 odd bulbs to make this work. I guess I need some obsidian back as well. How on earth did someone come up with Jello, honestly? Well, it's probably tinkering, right? Like, people tinker. People go into the kitchen and make up their own things. And there was a lot of tinkering done a long time ago. There was like an era of history where there was a lot of, like, homemade DIY tinkering and materials science, you know? An era of, like, guys at home trying to figure out how to make glue and other stuff. Like, around, I would say, like, 1800s, early 1900s. But then with time, like, a lot of the low-hanging fruit gets discovered, and then things get more complicated. So it becomes like laboratories, companies, institutions, like, that are needed now. You need bigger teams of people working together to discover stuff. I have to keep reminding myself. I think I've made a mistake, because this layer here isn't the bulb layer. We're one... Oh, so this one needs to be one block further down. Yeah. That needs to be... Good time to discover that, because... any more, and I'd be redoing a lot more. Not bad, not bad. Okay. You get it done proper once, you measure it... What was that thing about, you know, half-ass measure it once and cut twice? Something like that. I think that's the quote, you know. When you're doing DIY, half-ass measure it and cut it twice. That's what they... Oh my god! Oh my god! Dreams just flashed into my mind. Like, the words DIY just boom, like, you know that moment where, like, a whole dream just pops into your head? Oh my god. I had a dream that people were working on my house. Oh no, that's not... Okay, that's not the important scaffolding. That's good. I had a dream that people were working on my house and, like, ripping stuff out. And I kind of woke up in the dream and things were being worked on, and I have that feeling of, like, oh yeah, this was gonna happen. But I've overslept. I'm not up early. So I'm, like, trying to get myself awake and together. And all these people have done loads of work on the house. And as I'm going around, I'm constantly discovering that where they've, like, ripped stuff out of one room to work on it, there's, like, secret rooms and stuff. And so my house is getting bigger and bigger. And there's, like... like, when they ripped out some of the stuff in this room, there's, like, some cupboards there, and oh, there used to be a chimney, and there's this hidden chimney area, and it kind of started getting out of hand, because then I started to discover, like, a whole additional room, and it had a like a balcony area that overhung this, like, really big descent down into a forest. And at that point, even though I'm in that weird, dreamy, hallucinating, oh, I'm just accepting everything, I start to become a little bit suspicious. I'm like, this doesn't really make much sense. Like, how could I have this, like, really big room, and then, like, how would there be this forest just, like, in the middle of my house? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And that's when the illusion no longer continued to fool me, I guess you would say. Maybe it fooled me for a little bit longer. I don't know. That's kind of like the big vivid bits that I remember right now. But hey, dreams are fun. That is so cool and weird. Yeah, I think that because I've always had, like, a really strong fascination with dreams and wanted to remember them, I'm now pretty good at remembering dreams when they come back to me. But I think most people probably dream vividly. It's just about, like, creating that connection between you remembering it and not. So I've created, like, a really strong connection. So when I remember my dreams, I think I remember a lot of details about them too, you know? Like, details that other people... I mean, if you're not remembering the dreams on a regular basis, why would you remember the details, right? It's like you sharpened that knife. Bash Lee, XX, thank you for your 4 months of support. Appreciate you, my dude. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for supporting the channel. Depends on when you sleep, actually. I don't think it depends on when you sleep. Maybe it's a bit individual for each person, but for me, like, I just sleep at a regular time. And even when I sleep at irregular times, I still remember. Made a new song about a mind palace or the forest of the mind. Make a new song. I would love to. Fairchild, like, I'm doing so much musical stuff lately. With the learning, and, like, yesterday I spent many hours experimenting I'll tell you about what I wrote yesterday. I wrote some music. It was really strange how it came together, but like, I'm happy because I'm constantly like refining my tools and understanding, but I'm also sort of exploring places that don't lead to much end product. And I think an area I need to go back into for a little bit is ambient-y stuff, because that song that I made, Liminal Mind, like there's a lot more I can do and want to do and have the inspiration for in that space, but I keep sort of messing around in this learning area where you don't like get a big strong end product, to sound a little bit corporate-y about it, if you know what I mean. But you do, oh look at that. But you do learn a lot, and you do develop like ideas and concepts and stuff. You love Liminal Mind. I'm glad you do. I love it too. I really, really loved putting that song together, and I want to do more in that area and maybe make like this, I don't know, I got an idea for like a 4-track, like super long songs ambient piece or whatever. But hey, like music takes a lot of time to do, and I feel like if I focus on skills at the moment, I may just be speeding up that process. Hopefully I will be, like, for future me to come back to. But yeah, let's talk about this song that I did yesterday. First of all, Lil Bro Codes, thank you for your stream streak. Thanks for tuning in again. Well, I was kind of bored the past 3 days and ended up making both of them into a mod. Oh, okay, you asked the question. Yes, you were with the Prime and now you're here with the stream streak. Cool. Awesome. Mods are good. Mods are good. Let me have a little look at chat before we go on another tangent. Chat, now this message I just read makes sense. Chat is sharing their dreams. La Silva says, I always remember my dreams. Sometimes they're full of lore. I'm gonna say, if you remember your dreams, try and hold on to that. I feel like it's been a source of pleasure over time. Like, there's nothing bad. I mean, some dreams are actually quite heavy and emotional and can be, like, you can wake up in a bit of a state. But, like, you get over that quickly. I think it's balanced out pretty well by all the fantastical, weird stuff that happens in your dream. It's like just waking up with a weird story or something curious and interesting to think about. So I'd say if you have the ability, hold on to it. Like, sharpen that tool, so to speak. What is my style of music's genre? Well, I would like to say, honestly, kind of a little bit of everything, but like what I put out into the world gets channeled into a certain few sounds. But I would say just go listen to my music. I mean, this is the time to do it, isn't it? I'll put it up on the screen. Spotify, Bandcamp, Soulside Eclipse is the name. There's different styles there. There's stuff from a long time ago. There's a few things recently. As the years go by, the plan is to do more and more of this, and hopefully get more things out there into the world. I don't really need to get stuff out there into the world specifically. It's just like it's nice to do that at the end of like the songwriting process. So I'm pretty sure you'll see something at some point. But I'm in the process of refining my skills at the moment. So how did it all start yesterday? For some reason I decided to jump into the time signature 5/4. I don't know why I decided to do that. And I put down this drum beat, and it's like the bass and the snare are doing just 4/4 rhythm. And so it means that the 5/4 adds up over 3 bars before it cycles back on itself. And then this ended up getting extrapolated into 16 bars. So you've got a 3-bar groove looping on itself. Then I put to it this bass line where it has this like different rhythm, but then it like steps off of itself, and that one loops over 3 bars as well. But then when I started to put the synths together, right, I just did the synths very naturally. I went to the keyboards, I picked out the chords that I wanted, and just played them along. And when I started tabbing them, I realized that like they were really odd lengths. They sort of, I think they were like 3s and 6s or something. They didn't like map to my 5/4 beat until I extended that across 16 bars. So I've got this synth arrangement that sounds very natural. Like, it fits in, it works, but you have to play this thing a whole bunch of times. I was not expecting to see more tinted glass down here. You have to play it 16 times for it to loop round again. And then I layered in a riff on my 8-string guitar, and that one looped over 6 bars. And it's like, all of a sudden, I've got, like, all these different, like, looping time signatures, but they're all just adding up really naturally. They just sound really good together. I couldn't really figure it out. I was just like, I don't have an explanation for why this works yet, but it worked. Will I feature a vocalist in future music? Probably not. I'd probably stick to instrumental. I love when I realize I'm dreaming while dreaming. Then I have the paintbrush for it. That tends to not work for me. I kind of realized, right, I've talked about this many times. I've realized it's been a long time since this has happened now. But when I tried to learn to lucid dream, I really messed up dreaming because the way I was told to do it was to have a ritual before you go to sleep where you do something like flick a light switch. And the idea is you make a strong connection to the reality before you go into sleep, that you're awake, you know, and not dreaming. And then when you go to sleep, if you flick a light switch in your dream, you'll like reinvigorate that connection and it'll come back to you. That's the theory. What happened to me was when I would switch a light switch in my dream, it like deconstructs the dream and things go wrong in a horror kind of way. Like everything becomes scary and dangerous. And I had so many dreams where it'd be like I would flick this light switch and then all of a sudden things would start going really bad. Including lots of those like waking up loops where I would dream that I'm having a terrible dream and wake up only to realize I'm in a dream again. And like some of those could, you know, go on for like 3 or 4 different cycles. It was not pleasant. Bert says you watch too many horror movies, X. At this point in time, I haven't watched horror movies for a long time. I don't think it's related to horror movies. It just created like a psychological loop that didn't work or something. And I've kind of realized that I haven't had those in a long time. And I think it's because last year I heard this quote that happiness is enjoying the passage of time. And that quote really clicked something in my mind. It shifted something. Since then, I've stopped like spending lots of time listening to like self-help books and stuff. And I've just felt like I've done a lot of that. And now I'm just at ease. And I'm gonna you know, like just mellow out a bit more now, you know, right? Like you've done the hard work, enjoy the labor, or the other way around. And I think that's reduced my stress, because another thing I've noticed on my Fitbit is that my sleep score is regularly in the 90s now. And I think it's just because I've managed to stop worrying so much about stuff. I'm just much more mellow and chill. And maybe that kind of lines up with the dreams as well. Maybe it's just like where I've turned that corner. Now, you know, my sleeping state is a lot more relaxed, let's say. All right, let's remind ourselves. Bulbs, observers again. Let's do that one more time. Yeah. Bulbs, observer again, and then that would be the floor right there. Right. Let's crack on. Let's crack on. Do you ever listen to electronic music? I listen to lots of electronic music, but it's more electronic instruments than like I don't listen to like much EDM. I listen to stuff that's more adjacent to it. Seriously though, I recall a podcast about someone from several centuries ago trying to using smells to trigger specific dreams. Interesting. Like having someone release a smell while you're asleep. Could be a very interesting way to do it. You heard that's common with lucid dreaming, that people have horrible nightmares. Really? Interesting. I'd love to know where you heard that from. I don't recall if I, like, looked that up or not, but, like, that's something I would have wanted to have known at a point in time. Math patterns. I think fiddling around while creating or experimenting will let you discover new things, says Fayechild. Yeah, experimentation is, like, a big part of making music. I guess we're referring back to the musical talk, right? Like, I say my favorite band is Dimmu Borgir, but as time goes on, I am just... If there's one band I'm continuously obsessed with, it is Meshuggah. And, God, just learning what they're doing in their songs musically is so interesting. There's so much, like, architecture underneath it that breaks down into, like, not so much math, but, like, you have to explain it with numbers and counting. And these guys claim that everything's done through groove and feel. And I think I could believe that to an extent. Oh, dear. Had to emergency mute there. I think I could believe that their songs are like that to an extent. And that, you know, with so much time and seasoned experience doing this, that, like, a lot of that numbering stuff just, you don't actually need it, you're just feeling it or whatever. I can kind of, like, believe that, but at the same time, some of the stuff, the way it breaks down through the numbers, it's like, how do you not need the numbers to do this? It's just absurd, some of the stuff they come up with. Making music and making art are such similar things, says Tiana. I would say they're the same thing. I consider music art and art music. Well, that second one might not make quite as much sense, but they're all part of the same realm. You know, human creativity and expression, just take in various different forms. Okay, let's fill some of this in a little bit so I don't keep falling down into it. That would be nice. Right, we're out of materials again. I think I'm going to have to bring some of these shulker boxes around with me as I move about here. Music to my eyes, yeah. That's why AI can't make art, says Ender Owl. I had a thought about this the other day. I thought, now that, like, we've sat with AI art for a while, and I've not seen it as prominent yet as it might become, or you might have expected it to have been. But then I was wondering if in human creativity, is there a little bit of, like, secret sauce that AI is yet to capture or can't capture? So is there something in the process of being creative as a human that, like, we haven't figured out yet? And art, when you break it down into if you break a piece of art down into, like, numbers, you know, this pixel here is this color value, that one there is another color value, it perhaps can only generate something that is downstream of what is given to it. But there's so much complexity in that, in all of that information, that the human experience, we experience music and the power of it, yet we can't mathematically quantify it. We can't say why this song appeals to us in this particular way. And perhaps within that is a hint as to why this stuff is yet to maybe produce something that, you know, expands the horizons of what we can do with art. What is something that is truly feels like art to us? Because I'm not aware of any AI painting or creation that has, like, broken people's minds the way human creativity does yet. I also think we might be at a point in time, though, where, like, a lot of culture and art is heavily saturated too. So, like, are there any humans creating pieces of art that are, like, absolutely blowing people's minds. I don't think there are at this point in time, but yeah, I just wondered if, like, maybe they can only create stuff that is downstream. And I'm talking about, like, downstream from that thing that we can't actually quantify. We can't quantify why this music feels this special to us. We just experience it, yeah? Like, what if it can only ever create stuff that's downstream of that? So it can only ever create a lesser experience from the source. And there's something in humans and our creativity that allows us to create something upwards from it. That is how our eyes work, though. Eyes and ears just send an electric signal to the brain. It's true. It's true. This is how our eyes and ears work. But, like, current AI technology is using the brain as a sort of framework, but we're not fully emulating a brain and all of its parameters. We're sort of at rudimentary steps of creating neural networks and machine learning. Like, these are like the first imitations of the brain. Maybe the further along they get and the more they imitate, they start to find that secret sauce that feels like it's missing, you know? Right, we've got to make this area a little bit safer too, I think. What's code? Coding? Computer code, right? Instructions. Tell your CPU what to do. Tell it to put pixels on the screen. Tell it to play that sound file so you can hear what this madman is talking about. What is code? Baby, don't hurt me. Oh my god, that... if you're like a coding nerd, like, you can probably put all sorts of coding words, like integers or whatever, into that song. There you go. What is code? Baby, don't compress me. No, you need a shorter word than compress. Like, what's a coding word that... let's exchange. Come on, where's my coders in chat? Where's all our programmers at? Short word to replace love with. Go on, show me what you got. Float. Don't compile me. Yeah, I'm unfinished. Zip. Yeah, zip it up. Baby didn't hurts me no more. So that's like getting a little musical. I like it. A little sound related. Poke me. What's poke in coding then? Hash. I know what hash is. It's not something you put in a pipe. What? Don't push me to the GitHub repo. Yeah. I reckon you could take that and write a parody song if you wanted to. I reckon that would work. There's a parody song there. Don't build me, yeah. Don't compile, don't build. Clone, deploy. Y'all can do the rest. I've given you the basic idea. A parody code song. Oh yeah, some of this needs to be brick. Needs to be brick. Let's mine this away. Yo, I'm thinking I want to make a cup of tea. I did something. I did a little experiment, right? I put my kettle onto hold mode, so it has the ability to hold a temperature. And I'm kind of aware that's probably a bit wasteful of resources and energy, but I haven't actually tried it yet since I got my kettle a couple of months ago. So before the stream, I set up a cup of tea. Ah! And I put it on hold. That is a really dodgy hole. That is a very dodgy hole. Right, let me throw my music back up on the screen again. Me and Beef need to make some 80s music in Minecraft. Hopefully I'm like refining my skills to get towards doing something like that, you know? That's kind of my goal. Yeah, I'm going to go check on the kettle and see how it's doing, and maybe make myself a midstream cup of tea. Oh god, I hardly drunk any of this coffee as well. Right, people, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I did not get the impression that the whole temperature thing worked at all. I don't think it works at all. So, so much for that. Yeah, I also remembered I was supposed to get an important message on my phone. I've got two. Oh, right, I see what... Oh, that's interesting, okay. Oh, this is confusing. Oh, I see. I've had to do like a load of adulting stuff lately, and ringing people and like getting phone numbers confused is super annoying and confusing. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab that tea. I'm letting it brew, and then we'll get back to work in the Nether hub. Right, I'll be right back, people. Do we have any cycling enthusiasts in the chat? Because I got a question. Something happened. I got a flat tire on my bike. I have a question for you. When you tune into an Xisuma stream, it's always his tea time. That's why you tune in 5 minutes later. Duh. Come on now. I'm joking. Yeah, right. I just got to shoot off a quick text message. Try and spell my name correctly would be nice. Very good. It's only take a minute, people. It just helps when you're sorting stuff out. You want to get on top of it as soon as you can. And there we go. That's all of it, right? Alright, that's that taken care of. Cared of? Alright, bike. What kind of bike is it? It's an e-bike. And it's got gravel tires. And I've had this thing for 4 years, and I've never had a puncture. However, I got one. It's a very faint puncture. I've, pumped up the tire, and I can hear the air coming out of it. I couldn't identify the exact spot. I could hear it. I could put my ear close to it. I realized I didn't have a bucket big enough to, like, put the wheel in water so you can see the bubbles coming out. But I couldn't see any sign of something sticking into it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to take this off and get to the inner tube and try and figure it out that way around, right? Here's the thing. It seems like the tire is like completely and utterly stuck to the wheel. Like at every single point, there was just like no leveraging out of the tire at all. And to the point where like if you pull it to one side, it is just, it looks like it's stuck to the wheel. Just rub soapy water on the table and the hole will bubble. Ah, that's interesting. I've not heard of that one before. Dang it, I wish I'd have known that. Sometimes you just don't know to ask if there's like an alternative method, right? Bulb, observer, observer. That's at the correct height. We're missing some dirt right here. Anyway, what I wanted to ask is, I think no-tube tyres are actually a thing, but I couldn't find out if my one was one or not. Is anyone aware of either of these things? Like, tyres that don't have inner tubes that can be pumped up, or they're, like, connected together or something. And this whole, like, your tyre is stuck to the wheel thing. Squeeze it hard, bead has gotten stuck to the ring. Tubeless tyres are a thing. I'm gonna ring the people I brought it from tomorrow and just ask for some advice. And then maybe, I mean, I'll mention I might bring it in for them to fix if I feel like I don't know what I'm doing or it doesn't work out, you know. But, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing was kind of odd. I've always had, like, the worst, I wouldn't say luck. I seem to be really bad at repairing tires. Like, every bike I've had, every puncture I've ever got, I can never repair it properly by myself. I don't know what it is. I think it might be my god-awful hands, but, like, I just never seem to do it correctly. Always have to get someone to help. Got to get some leverage to remove the tire. Best tutorial on YouTube. Yeah, I'm aware of, like, doing the leverage thing, but, like, in the past, it's been, on my other bikes, it's like the tire will come away from the edge of the wheel, and you put something in to get leverage. This is, like, it's absolutely stuck all the way to the wheel, and there's, when I say stuck, it feels like at every single point, like, along the tire meeting the wheel, it is, like, perfectly sealed. Right? Like, there's nothing to get leverage in. You try and pull it away, and, like, it does not want to move. And it just felt so intentional. It felt like this is surely by design, right? Like, not an accident. Not like you left it in the sun for too long or something. Wait a minute. Isn't it one under the glass? Here we go. One extra layer. So where I ripped out all of that there, I didn't actually need to do that. Some of that can be crying obsidian. In fact, most of it would be, right? So I made a bit of a mistake there. Put some of it back. Do I know the brand of the bike? I happen to know the brand of the bike, yes. It's written all over it, fortunate for me. Anyway, I will ring the shop tomorrow and, like, get some advice on it and whatnot, because I did look it up online and I couldn't find any information saying, like, if it was like a one-wheel product with, like, no inner tube. You know, I just couldn't seem to find the right information, so I figured I'll ring the people I got it from, and hopefully they can shed some light on that. Okay, so then at this level here, it all has to be like that. Whoops. Maybe deflate the inner tube more first. It was, dude, it was, like, so deflated. There might be folding tires to grip on the inside of the rim. The main thing I wanted to ask was just, like, if that's a thing or not, like gluing the tire to the wheel. It is so solidly stuck to it, and so, like, perfectly, you know, like, not in places, like, the whole thing, both sides, it's just perfectly glued to the wheel. Like, there was just no leverage on it whatsoever, and I had not seen that before. But what I wanted to ask is, like, is that a thing that they do with bikes, basically? Because I'm aware of, like, they do tubeless tires. I'm not sure if that's what I've got, but this whole, it's completely stuck to it thing was kind of took me a bit by surprise. No sensible person would do it if that one requires a tube. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Like, if you have an inner tube, you know, that don't make no sense, does it? And when I was looking up the tires, like, it was a bit weird. Like, I couldn't find the tyre types saying that it did have an inner tube or it didn't. It was a bit ambiguous. Looked in a bunch of different places. Ended up watching some YouTube videos about them as well, and they weren't exactly explicitly saying if it had an inner tube or not. So it was all a little bit like, I can't like get this going in the right direction, you know, and start to make some progress. So had to leave it. Right, that would be this side here looking kind of done, wouldn't it? I think we'll have time for an adventure today. It'd be probably on the shorter side, but you know, adventuring's always fun in this game. Plus, we got a new Nether tunnel to go to. I built it for Tango and for myself. If there's a valve and it can deflate, inflate, you have a tube, X. Yeah, I do. I do have a the valve, and that would very much suggest that there is an inner tube. Yeah, interesting. Well, I'll have to see what they say. We'll start there. We'll start with whatever they say, and hopefully that sheds some light. Hopefully they're not like, oh, that's unusual. What's going on there? Bring it in. We'll charge it. I'll be like, oh, here we go. It sounds like it's on a bed like a car tire. Never heard of a bike that does that, but I'm not a bike guy either. It is an e-bike, and it's like a kind of like a high endurance get around multiple terrain types type thing. Like it's got gravel wheels, which are these really thick. Like, well, they can go on gravel, I think is the idea. Not sure how much of a problem gravel is for most people riding their bike, but if you imagine the different types of terrain you can encounter, I imagine that's a tricky one. So you can go on the gravel, you can go on the roads, you can go off-road on it. How do we get out of here now? Is it still just through this gap that I've just like managed to make a meal of it for myself? Yeah, we'll go out this way. Like fat bike, thick tires. Yeah, however, when you say there are some e-bikes that are really on the sort of the wheels look more like something you'd see on a moped, right? Mine isn't like that. Mine looks like a bike, but when you look at it closely, you'll be like, those are some big, thick tires on it, right? But it's not too aggressive, which is not particularly helpful because, you know, trying to describe stuff without a picture of it is a bit silly, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. Hopefully it's enough to make sense. I think I got more diorite down below, you know. You have a Bergamont trail bike that's got chunky wheels also. Yeah, maybe it's similar to that. Tire vulcanized itself to the rim over time, so if you haven't had it off in a few years, they can be hard to get off. Interesting. That might be what's happened then. Interesting. Also, vulcanized sounds kind of bad. That sounds like heavy duty, you know? It makes me think of volcanoes. What's that got to do with my bike? Phoenix says, I hate the rain so much. Thank you for 40 months in a row. Yeah, I mean, the rain can bring the mood down, can't it? But yeah, I'm going to leave it alone for today. Ring them tomorrow, find out what's what. Maybe flip it upside down, take the wheel off again. I don't know. I really don't like DIY stuff like that, though, because it's the same thing over and over again for me. I tell you what, did I tell you I had to fix my dishwasher? That actually went well. Like, it took a long time. I fixed my dishwasher, and I so expected it to go wrong, and it didn't. It's been working. I had a moment the other day where I was like, oh, that actually paid off. My experience with DIY stuff a lot of the time is just like never getting that payoff and just having to get someone to do it else to do it anyway. And I don't like that. Expert repairs. Oh gosh, far from expert. Night Daz says, yes, you hurt your hand. Yeah, I cut my thumb open. It's got a lovely little line for it now. Yeah, so like, you know, you spend all this time and effort doing that, and then when it's done, you're like, straight out of your mind, right? Like, I did not take much pleasure from doing it at all. It was just a case of, oh yeah, do you know what? I think I've done these bits wrong on the other tunnels. We'll have to double check them. Anyway. Yeah, no pleasure from doing it whatsoever. But like that little moment where it's like, oh yeah, wait, this is good. This is done. It's fixed. I'm just going to realize like my dishwasher is on right now. Ever since I fixed it, no problems. So, yay, I guess. It actually worked. It actually worked. Can you believe it? Right, so below you got the space, you got the bulb, you got observer 1, observer 2, and then platform. So let's start putting in the platform blocks next. I think I should have got some stone when I went back and I didn't. So we'll probably end up going back again. That's how it always goes. Right, we're in line. Also, I don't think we've had too many mobs around here, which is a good sign that Tango's mob switch is working. You had to do a few weeks back. Your dad had to come help you because it was stuck to the counter. What did you have to do? Something was stuck to the counter and you couldn't reach the plug socket. I mean, that must be extra annoying if it's something simple, like, I just need to unplug this, but I can't reach it, yeah. Sometimes you just need to call on someone and have some help, right? Sucks that I cut my thumb. I ain't so bad, you know, like, I'm over it. I mean, on occasion I've cut myself doing DIY stuff and it's, like, actually quite awkward or bad. This one, although it was quite deep, it sort of just didn't get in the way. It didn't hurt too much, and like it healed up pretty quick. Like I've had some scrapes and bumps or whatever over the years where like you don't heal up quick and it don't feel right. You're like, when I was a young whippersnapper, you know, this stuff would heal up quick, and these days it takes ages for a little bump to go away now. What's going on? What's up? What's up with that? It ain't so good. VOD title selection suggestion: waffling about things getting stuck. I mean, I guess my tire got stuck to the wheel. Is that what we're referring to? To fix your dishwasher, you have a counter dishwasher. Had to drain and clean it out. When you say counter dishwasher, do you mean a fitted dishwasher? I think there's a term, and I encountered it recently because I was fixing mine. There's a term, I think it's freestanding and fitted is what we use over here in the UK. So freestanding means your dishwasher is its own like little unit and you can move it around. But then if you have a fitted one, it means that the front of it at least is like fitted to the panels of your kitchen. So I have a fitted dishwasher, meaning the panels around the front are the same as my kitchen, and then I have a freestanding washer, clothes washer, and it's its own little unit. It just sits in a gap. A dishwasher washer? You need a dishwasher washer with your dishwasher? What's gonna wash your dishwasher? Integrated. Yeah, I think integrated is the term. Yeah. I kept saying fitted, didn't I? I think integrated might be the term. Alright, I missed a step. We'll fix it up quickly. Is this where I run out of stone? I think I know where there might be some more in the Nether, although now I'm probably just gonna end up running around wasting time if I do this. We'll see, we'll see. No, like, if I go up to the top, there's some like leftover building supplies, but I'm like right next to here anyway. I got a sneaky dishwasher. Sneaky, stealthy. I guess so. Oh, that is a good cup of tea right there. Keeping my belly warm. Right. Let's get some more of that stuff tucked away and then grab... Probably still need quite a bit more of this because we've got a lot of platforming to build. Aussie dishwashers are weird. Why are they weird? Do they not wash the dishes? Do you put in the dishes and it says, oh, you do it. It's your turn. Right, let's check this spot. What was I checking it for? Diorite? Diorite's done correctly here. And there, so that's good. This one's fully done now. We'll check the one on the right. We'll check the one straight ahead. Ah, you see, not correctly done here. And again! And what was that noise in the ear? Evil X is in his house. Is Aprover here for 80 months? Aprover, thank you so much, my dude. Appreciate another subscription. Hope you're doing well. My dishwasher is like this annoying size where it just needs to be like a tiny bit bigger to be more efficient. It feels like the things that fit into it just take up this awkward amount of space. I always feel like it could be more efficient, but hey, you know. Pseudonymous, thank you ever so much for subscribing, my dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Question in chat, did both of you subscribe, like literally right now? Because I've noticed over time, sometimes the subscriptions come in waves, and I often wonder if it's like Twitch has to process them, and then they come through a little bit later or something, and then they come through in groups. But yeah, thank you to the both of you. Appreciate the support as always. And hope you're going to be entertained today, and whenever we stream next, which won't be Tuesday. Right, here things are going to be a little bit different. Oh, where'd all my netherrack go? Let's grab some of that temporary. Glad there's nothing down here trying to shoot at me, that's for sure. So I can kind of put something here, but you'd see it. Oh, actually, if you look at that, this kind of looks like it might be easily rebuilt, but I think I'll ask Impulse first. What is actually going on here? Like, did someone deactivate? This looks like it's been disabled. Like, that probably had the audio on, and there used to be a note block here. This can be easily rearranged. Okay, I think this can be easily rearranged, so let's go figure this one out. I think we're going to be able to make this work here. So, that is the space. Then you have the bulb. Observer 1. Observer 2. We need to go one block lower than this. We need to be down at this height, I believe. Okay, that would make these the starting blocks of our platform. Wait, there's a skulk sensor in there. I was looking for the skulk sensor and I didn't see it. But I can hear it. It's in there. I don't know where that skulk sensor is. It's just kind of occurred to me. That's something worth figuring out. Okay, that's the ends. That's the end of that one. Both messages appeared in chat right when you saw them, at least. Yeah, well, they appeared on my screen, they appeared in chat. It's just, I'm curious, like, because I've seen it so many times where they come through in little waves. It feels like maybe Twitch queues things up a little bit or something. That was kind of my question, you know? And the only people that can answer that are Aprover. And speaking of which, Aprover says, yeah, just now. Anonymous says, I just subbed, yes. Also, you're the only person so far to pronounce My name. Autonomous. Did I say it that way last time I said it? It'll probably change every time I say it. But hey, if I get one of them right, that's good. We're not used to that around here. We're used to something different on this place. But yeah, thank you to the both of you. So I guess you did. Maybe it's just coincidence, you know. Maybe it just happens like that sometimes. I say sometimes. It feels like, you know, a fair bit, which is why I remarked on it. But yeah. All right, put in more of that obsidian. Actually starting to feel a little bit safer now. Although... seem to have done away with my own exit there. And we got another one. It's Tilda MC here for 33 months. Thanks so much, my dude. Appreciate your subscription. Hope you're enjoying the stream and all that good stuff. Have I considered using Chatterino? It's less prone to lag and such than Twitch chat in the window. I don't use Twitch chat, but yeah, I need to look into an alternative, so I'll have a look. Thank you for the suggestion. Ah, we got Lady Artistry coming in. See, look, they're coming in waves again. Waves, I tell thee. Thank you for subscribing, much appreciated. Welcome to the channel. And Alan is here for 25 streams in a row. You nearly ruined my streak by streaming early today. Happy start to the week. Hey man, like I say, they're just numbers. They're just numbers. We can't get too caught up in the numbers in life. The experience, how you spend your time, that's the important thing. Alright, look at that. Much safer now. So down the end here, we need a little bit of that. And isn't it on the front side? I thought it was on the front side that you would have diorite coming down. There's a lot of soul soil here. I think I'll leave that in for the time being because it feels... yeah, no, it's very deliberate, isn't it? It's just missing from one or two spots, which is kind of odd. What if I enjoy spending my time making my number go up, says Callie? Great question. I mean, that's the point, right? Is like... if you enjoy making the number go up, then you have to ask yourself, what is the actual value of the number going up? Because that's the psychological trap that a lot of this numbering stuff is working with. So, like, Twitch's stream streaks, I mean, you know, you can implement this stuff and it can be relatively innocent, but there's... In gaming today, when big game studios design games, they have teams of like psychologists working on it. It's the same for your big social media companies as well. Like, you use this platform, are you thinking like, hey, did a psychologist design this to get like the most of my engagement out of me? You're probably not thinking about anything like that, but that's what's happening. So, like, you have to think it through and ask yourself, what does it mean? Because if you realize all of a sudden, you know, you're putting all this time and effort into making the number go up at the detriment of other things that you could be doing with your time, then you want to change that habit, right? You want to change that habit. Once more, X takes my jokes and turn it into a life lesson. You'd be a good parent, X. Thank you. I think parenting is a lot more than just that going for it, but I appreciate it. This is a very kind thing to say. But yeah, that's the point, right? I think I've made myself quite clear. That's what you're up against. What do the numbers actually mean? X out here giving life advice for free. To be fair, if someone's charging you for advice, I don't know. Like, isn't the best advice in life usually free? Is what that quote says. Like, people who learn lessons and want other people to do well will share those lessons with you. But if someone's selling you that, it immediately becomes a bit more dubious. I think I'm gonna rip out the soul sand here actually, because it wasn't exactly cleanly implemented. We'll keep this bit looking nice and consistent. if someone is charging you for advice, are they a therapist? I think being a therapist is a profession of value. And it's interesting you bring that up because that ties in exactly to what I'm saying. But I was thinking of people who sell you like a course online, you know, an advice, life advice, how to be successful or whatever. That I'm more dubious of. Whereas, you know, they're trying to, in a way, professionalize by selling you something. But they're usually selling you, I think, a product more than a service. But I believe therapy is, you know, a very legit and useful thing. But interesting you would bring that up because it's kind of like, oh yeah, well there's also that. But I guess there's just some places online where people are trying to sell you advice on how to better your life and stuff, and I'm a bit dubious of some of that stuff. I think, like on a platform like YouTube, you'll find people dispensing advice for free. And if someone's saying like, and now you got to pay to join my club, academy, school thing that I made myself, I'd be a bit dubious of that. Speaking of which, the Xisuma School of Life is starting up soon, peeps. It's just £500 a month. Can you imagine? Therapy is a lot more than just advice. It's guiding someone in the right direction without pushing them over the edge. There you go, well said. Yeah, it's a lot more than that. It's someone actually listening to you, you know, as well. Like, a lot of online advice is like one way. Only 500, wow. Yeah, only 500. What a bargain. Where do we send the money? Send it to EvilX. EvilX, my accountant. I trust him entirely. Can I get 0.01 of those? Yeah, you can attend for 10 minutes of a day or something. His evil twin brother? Yes, with our finances? No way. You can trust Evil X, said no one ever. You got $5, what's the advice? Send me those $5 and I'll tell you how to make more money. Here's a funny thing, right? Here's a funny thing. So some of these online academies, some of these social media people who are like, hey, look at my lifestyle, I'm rich and famous. And by the way, why is there like just so much of that today? I don't know if it's the algorithm. To be fair, my algorithm is not full of that stuff at all. I'm just very aware of it elsewhere. But like, there's so much value today, it seems like certain people are putting on like wealth and success, and I don't think that's a great thing to use as a barometer, like for your own values and where you want to go. Anyway, but it's in these spaces that these people are selling these courses of like, you know, how to be rich and successful in life. And like, the funny thing is like, do you want to know how to be rich and successful like them? Get an image out there and then start up your own school and find all the suckers that are going to fall for it, you know? Although it's calling people suckers ain't particularly nice, is it? But do you know what I mean? Like, and what's funny about that is that I found this when I was young, right? Wolf Owls, thank you so much for 3 months. Woo! Ah, woo! And Anonymous, thank you for gifting a sub to JMac. Appreciate you doing that. JMac says thanks. Love to see it. So I actually found this when I was quite young. Maybe like early 20s? No, maybe younger than that, actually, now that I think about it. It might have still been in school. Anyway, used to play this online game, and there were like points, and this is kind of a little bit like mobile gaming, but in the very early days of the internet. And this is where like this this whole thing ran off of what you call whales. Whales are people who just dispense an extraordinary amount of money into the game. So some games, their model is to find the whales. They actually, I believe they use this terminology, like, you know, if they're having business meetings and stuff, they'll talk about it in this way. So, like, some of those mobile games that you play, where they got those ridiculous features where it's like you pay for things to happen faster or you pay for perks, like, they are... Sometimes the model behind the business of the game is to hunt for whales. They're looking for people who are susceptible to the psychology of the game and basically unload lots of their money into the game to try and be the best at it or whatever, you know, to get that satisfaction out of it. Maybe satisfaction isn't the right word. But, you know, the business model is find those few small amount of people that will dump tons of money into our game. It's not about like getting the average person to put money in. It's just about finding those few people. And this game that I played was actually an early model of that before probably people knew to call it that. Maybe the people that made the game didn't even know that's what they were doing. They just like lucked their way into that working, right? They built this game, it had some sort of viral success, lots of people came along, but then the only thing that kept it going were the ones that sunk lots and lots of money. And I talked to one of them once, and they basically said that they'd like ruined their life playing this game, but they were still playing it and dumping tons of money into it. So I'm thankful for that conversation because it helped steer me off, but I was already on that path because I got turned off from it when I put £100 of my own money in, and this is like a time ago where £100, just through the way the economy has changed and inflation works, £100, it was probably like free, like maybe not free, £200 to £300 of today's money is how much I decided to put in, right? I don't think I even had a job at the time. Like I just was not in a position to do that, and I immediately realized that it was not a great decision because I just watched it vanish really quick. And after that, like, momentary high of like, I've got lots of points, I can do lots of stuff in the game, I immediately had to grapple with, and now they're all gone. And then I realized, like, oh, I don't want to put another £100 into this game. So, like, I learned that lesson without too much pain, fortunately. Without too much pain for yours truly. Some people don't learn that lesson at all. Some people go through hell and back to learn that lesson, like, you know. Anyway, not long after I got those points and watched them vanish straight away, I started talking to some other people in the game, and this was when I started to realize that there weren't a lot of people playing this game. There were a handful of people like me who would have loads and loads of different accounts and use programs to play the game, to do raids and control stuff, and like there was actually a small amount of people playing the game. And I talked to this one guy who was the leader of this clan and basically said, well, actually, the clan is me. Every single person in the clan is my alternate account. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then they told me how they'd spent all this money. And I think that was one of the things that led me to backing out of playing this game, was just seeing how damaging it was. But it also, like we talked about, number goes up a little while ago. I also realized all I was doing in this game was trying to make my numbers go up. And there was no end to it. Like, you know, I would spend ages working on some quests so that I could unlock some little thing. The game is called Outlaw, by the way. It's a very old online game. It still exists today. I think it's like just held together with duct tape because there's still some whales playing it, so they still make money from it. But yeah, you know, it started me questioning, what am I getting out of this game? Like, the number goes up, right? But it never stops going up. They always add something new after a while that you have to go and chase again. And that sort of shattered the illusion of what was fun about the game. And I just saw it differently after that point and couldn't play it anymore. And the thing with that is I actually feel like a lot of computer games have an element of that. If you're not putting your own human creativity into a game, then it sort of serves as like a distraction from reality. And you need that sometimes. You need a place to enjoy something. Sometimes there are things like art and story in a game that you can enjoy. I'm not trying to knock them fully, but what I've learned recently and like right now with my ambition to pursue music more, it's really, really clear to me. But like that Outlaw experience existed in like an ugly space where it's really obvious what's wrong with it. But like you can have all kinds of different degrees of relationships with how you spend your time. And if you don't ask those questions, you know, you might be chasing some next level inside of a game that doesn't really actually do anything for you. You know, like you're just going to get over that horizon and then go to the next one. And that's why I've been struggling to play games lately, because they just feel like that at this point in time for me. They just feel like, all right, you know, you're going to go into the game world, there's going to be something to do, and then you're going to have to like try and beat that and then beat it again and level up, and you get more and more powerful, but like for what end? You're not learning a skill, you're not developing yourself as a human being. Puzzle games, I feel like, you know, they push your brain a little bit, they get you to think. Some of those can be useful, but there's incremental idle games. Yeah, that kind of category is more criminal to what I'm saying, right? But yeah. Jam Tomato says, I've had problems with substance addiction, and I've had to steer clear from any video games with microtransactions like that, because even after getting sober, I found the same feeling from buying stuff in those sorts of games. I would always have a big high, then a big low, which would lead to seeking out a big high again. I totally understand that, my dude. I would say like you've identified, you've looked at it, you've seen like the where, the what, and the how. I would like push that a little bit further, and like, do you ever see that in regular gaming? Because it's not just the microtransactions. Like, there are some games where, you know, there's a number put in front of you, and it's about like getting to the next level and getting to the next level. And if what's before it and what leads to it is like very enjoyable and like there's a lot of positives to it, then, you know, maybe it's okay. But sometimes some games are a little bit hollow, I've noticed, and they're just, you know, they're just trying to rope you into the next thing. And it's like, it's the psychology. It's a similar psychology to addiction, because you're just like seeking that reward over and over again. And I think one of the best rewards that you could possibly be air quotes addicted to is something like learning skills and like leveling up yourself, building up your knowledge. Like, some games can do that, others can't, but like your ability to see the value of how you spend your time with these games, I think, is important. So it's like an open question for anyone out there who's curious, I guess. This is why you like roguelikes. You went through a Risk of Rain 2 phase for a while because of the pacing, atmosphere, music are all gorgeous, says Anonymous. I played Risk of Rain quite some time ago. I went through a phase of really liking roguelikes, but it was because it was like a new type of thing to me. You know, you go through, you play the game, but then when you die and you start over again, now the game can be different, or like you can see more of it because you're like unlocking ways to go further. But then, for me, like, after I got used to that, like, its novelty wore off when I would play some of these games. And again, it just felt like I'm falling into the game, this psychological trap of feeling like you're making progress and growing or moving in some sort of direction. And actually, if I'm doing it inside of a game, I'm not doing it in real life. I'm just doing it in this alternate reality. So that led me to, like, back off from them. Let's put an exclamation mark. We need to save some letters here. Shroom Island up to the right. Hopefully it looks up here. And then over there, right? How do you do an upwards arrow? Like that? No, like that. Up here. And then that's maybe one more sign, because it's kind of funny. Or this way. Follow the tunnel. Because after that, you don't need any more signs. I'm going to send a picture of that to Tango, just because, like, I don't know. To me, this felt like a little bit simple. You could, like, explore this area for a moment, but, like, Tango might, I don't know, he might think he's supposed to fly or something. I don't know, so I figured if I put down a couple of, like, hang on, let's get a little bit closer to that. If I put down a couple of signs, that's going to help Tango immensely, so I thought I'd do that now. Alright, there we go. Sent that off to Tango. Callie says, unfortunately, this type of gameplay is super profitable. Number do go up. Unfortunately, it's not just the number you see. Yeah, you made me think of a game, Balatro. Like, I think Balatro almost, like, shattered the illusion for me, because I was really interested in what that game was about. And when I saw that someone had done it with poker, I was like, oh, this is immediately my thing. But then when I went and played it, like, the illusion of those kind of games all of a sudden broke, because a lot of the decision making in it felt kind of hollow. It's kind of hard to describe why, but I guess it just felt too much like picking a bunch of choices and seeing the number continue to go up. How far do you get? Well, you learn maybe that choice wasn't as good at this one. But what I miss is, like, the creative element in that. It's a bit more rewarding if you're, in order to level up, you're, like, solving some puzzles or doing challenges. And that can be, I don't know, like, we played one, like, was it Backpack Hero? Where, like, you had to sort of think a bit more about your decisions and then rearrange them inside this backpack to give yourself perks. And, like, there's more complexity and creativity in that. And if you think about something like Redstone in Minecraft, it's, like, the same thing, except there's no game shoving the numbers at you and forcing you in a direction. It's like you're in your world and you're deciding, I need to make a farm, and then you need to make it a certain amount of efficient, right? So, oh, I should have brought a bunch of torches with me. You know, I didn't even think about coming over here. I guess I've got this. I might leave some of this stuff back here just so we don't actually lose it, just in case, you know. Might die in this area. So we got blocks. We're gonna need sticks and coal while we're here. And then I want to use the blocks to stop the mob spawning if I can. I might have to actually fight the mobs. I've waltzed over here without giving it a second thought. So yeah, Balatro broke it for me. Inscription is a much better card game, video game. Decision making is important. I agree. In fact, I have such a good impression of that game. You know, I don't watch other people play games. I, on rare occasion, maybe end up watching some sort of stream. More likely, I'll be watching a Hermit stream on occasion. But, like, I just don't do that. However, when Joe was going to play and stream Inscription, I was like, I'm tuning in. I want to see Joe's reaction to this. This game is wild, and it has a lot more to offer than just the game itself. It's got story, it's got lore, it's got depth. Like, you can be far more artistic with games and make them go the distance, you know? But in the case of something like Balatro, it felt really hollow. It felt very driven by number goes up mechanic. And yeah, there was another one that caught my eye recently and I felt a little bit tempted about, which was like a roguelike chess game with a kind of number go up mechanic, but I think I won't bother to play it because I don't know. It's not where I'm at. It's not where I'm at right now. You know what might benefit me here is a stack of scaffolding. So I can just, like, reach up and get some bulbs from up top. I'm not sure if I read the last noise in the ear. It was 16 minutes ago, so I'm just going to say Silhouette, thank you ever so much for 12 months. And sorry if I'm late on that one. I can't remember if I read it or not. You think your girlfriend would give you a stern stare if she heard this, because she's been trying to get me to learn how to play The Witcher for years? I haven't played The Witcher, so I don't know, but gaming's such a weird thing, and like to be a part of it in this way is really strange. I think people think of me as a gamer, and I don't think of myself as a gamer at all. When I was younger, I was definitely like into games and played like a whole bunch of them. But as I got on older, it's just like, it feels like I want what's valuable to me to come from me. You know, like your own creativity and how you express yourself and whatnot. And like, games don't really do that. I also don't really consider Minecraft a game. I consider it a sandbox for me to create and do things inside of. And I like that. Xisuma, craftsman, musician, philosopher, non-gamer. Non-gamer. But like, there's a time and place for gaming as well, right? Like, if you're hanging out with friends and playing a game together, that can be awesome. Like, you need that relaxed time as well. But I you know, when I'm like on my usual thing, like just at home day to day, like it's not a holiday. I have to get things done towards my life goals, which currently, as you know, is like music, right? I gotta work towards that every day. Otherwise, I feel it gnawing at me. If I'm on holiday though, and we're chilling out in the evening, we can sit around and like play a game together, I'm down. That's good fun. But like, I can do it when I'm in that headspace of like, this is a break. I'm resting. Oh, I forgot to do something back there. I sort of started, but you know, here I am chatting away. Oh, by the way, a bundle. Bundle will be useful right now. I got 4 of them in here. Very useful. Might even put a little bit more stuff in there. And then I've still got some other valuable stuff lying around. Okay. The other thing that I was going to do is inside of there. And the other valuable thing to make sure we don't lose is that. I'll chuck some sticks in as well. Not quite as valuable. This is what I forgot. So in here, I should probably grab a chest plate. And then, yeah, look. This is why it just popped into my head. Like, why didn't I gather some of those while I'm here? That's a backup sword, but the boots are good. It's the headpiece. Yeah, we'll put those in there. It's the headpiece that will make a real difference. There you go. Aren't you glad I remembered that? I could use the other bow as well. I've also got that for the offhand. Like, why not? Just don't get yourself in that much of a pickle. Okay, and make sure you put that back, because I might need some of that if I die here. Alright. That was good, wasn't it? Good decision making. What are your thoughts on the current builder's meta of designing things with Axiom and pasting it in with Light Magicka? And where do you personally stand with it? More specifically, the usage of Axiom, as it can be used for some very impressive builds and stuff. At a certain point, builds start to feel less manual, and I personally like builds that are improvised, as they definitely have a charm to them. You know, I think whatever tools you can use to create, you're welcome to use. It's up to you to make your own individual choices in Minecraft. I think where Minecraft has fallen behind the sort of cutting edge of building is that the game's inventory has not evolved with what people want to do inside of the game. And I think there's many different things you could attempt to do or try or just evolve. There's probably lots of low-hanging fruit if we were willing to you know, make some bold changes about how the game works. And I think that's a bit of a sad thing, really, that the game's, you know, friction point for building hasn't evolved with it. If it had, if over the years the inventory had always gotten smarter and stuff, I think we would be more in line with how we can do bigger and bolder and more ambitious building. But it's still the same break a block, place a block system from a long time ago. Wolf Watchman, thank you ever so much for 5 months. Been a bit, but I'm back. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, my dude. Instead of gamer, would you accept artist? Hands down, I would, yeah. You and a lot of the others use 3D medium as an art form to sculpt and paint the things you imagine from your creativity. 100%, man. That's a huge compliment as well. Like, of course I'd take that. Yeah, artistry is 100% the vibe. And, you know, I would say less so with Minecraft. For me, music is my main place for artistry. That's where I feel like it makes the most sense to use that word. You're getting started on Titancraft, and inventory management in the early game is a pain in the butt. Definitely grab yourself some bundles. And just when it gets cluttered, use them. It'll start making more sense the sooner you start using it. Titancraft is a Tango server, right? Oh, it's dark now. Rewards? Not really. There might also be stuff in these decorated pots. Like, you can get a lot of things when you come around one of these, right? Might be missing out on some goodies. I like collecting the decorated pots because then you don't have to craft them later. That one less thing to craft. Let's go down. So, wait a minute. Let's grab some blocks because... Can I actually, like, properly block this off without actually looking at it? Feels like that should be possible. And then there's going to be another one over here. Huh. I feel like I can hear the crunching of bones somewhere. Oh my god, look, we can do it. Huh. Well, we saved ourselves some headaches there. I wasn't exactly in the mood for doing any of that, so nice. I'll take it. It's a win. I'm hearing mob sounds somewhere. I'm hearing something. Something creepy's going on. Right, and now the inventory is full. So this is like where you say, is the bundle actually helping? Let's go get another bundle. And grab those pots with it. Anything that's like one item or less, just grab with it. Apparently I did not put my my leggings away. It's kind of annoying. Right, I'm going to sit down again for a little bit, I think. Ren would love your bundles. He has a storage problem from 3 streams ago. I kept offering, and I think I can't offer anymore. Like, you know, people are polite, but maybe Ren just wants to do storage himself. But, you know, as you know, I've built Corrales, Joe, and Skiz storage systems, and it's been like, they've built it, and now that problem is solved as much as it can be in this game. So they don't have to worry about it. Take a little bit of scaffolding. Which is what we want. We don't want to worry about the inventory. I think that's what Mojang need to do as well. I think they need to make us have to think about it less. Just have it take care of itself. It's simple. Ooh, there's a bunch of them together. Don't mind if I do. Just build Ren a secret storage unit. I was considering just building Scar storage and just being like, here's your storage system, Scar, it's in your base, but I don't know if people are just a little bit shy to take you up on it, or they think they're going to cause you a bother, or if they've got their own plans. So, you know, I can only be pushy so far, right? Oops. Will I become Xisuma? If someone makes me that skin, 100%. I really want to do that again. I haven't done a skin change in a minute, feels like. And I think Xisuma would be hilarious. Plus, I want to build a farm for those things. I think that could be quite fun. Although, the more I thought about it, the more it's going to end up probably being a lot like a regular mob farm. But we'll see, we'll see. So much for that copper grate platform along here. It's vanished itself. Sulfur Xisuma would stink of rotten eggs, though. That's true. That's true. It would be quite smelly. But we can tolerate it. We can tolerate a bit of stink, can't we? Scar would end up making a chest monster anyway. True. It's probably very true. Sulfur Xisuma and Evil X beat Evil. Wait, what? Evil Cinnabar Xisuma? I feel like there's got to be a word we can make to make that work better, but 100% that would be so funny to have an Evil X. How would that work though? Because you kind of need the Evil X face, and we're talking about the Cinnabar texture. So maybe you just make the red of Evil X a bit more Cinnabar-y. Look at this room. This is where scaffolding comes in, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe there's another approach here. Because like scaffolding is a lot of up and down. By the way, question for everyone in chat. This is one of those ones I need you to answer, okay? When you play in Minecraft, you have the reach distance, okay? How far you can break blocks. Have you noticed that on Hermitcraft for seasons now, we are able to reach much further than you can in vanilla? And are you playing yourself with like the vanilla reach distance? Because it's a huge difference. I'm starting to think it's like maybe one of the easiest big wins Mojang could do would just be to let you reach a couple of extra blocks. Never noticed, surely. Surely, cheater. We don't know what causes it. We do not know. And whenever I switch between making a snapshot video and playing on Hermitcraft, oh my god, it's night and day. But like, where are we now, right? Let's go, like, how far up here can I dig? So, I think I can even get the next one, right? I'm not jumping. So that's, go do this yourself if you've got a world open, right? I'm stood on a block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Oh! Right? That many blocks away I can reach. I thought it was like 5 and 6 was too much last season, and now I swear it's gotten even more. This is all for the 6-7 joke. Yeah, you've sussed me out there. You've sussed me out. Vertical, horizontal, or both? I think it's theoretical. I don't think it changes based on your direction. I think it's just both, you know. Oh, and don't get upset about 6-7. Grow up. It's just a kid's joke. 6-7 is turning into the new Rickroll. Does that mean one day we'll really appreciate it? You'll have like grey hair and, you know, you're at a restaurant with a loved one and you'll be like, oh, do you remember 6-7? Oh, the good old days. Something like that. The thing with the Rickroll is that song is awesome. And it was chosen because it was like this forgotten 80s cheesy synth pop song that just seemed to hit all of like the cliches, right? And then people started doing the Rickroll thing. But like the more you would hear it, it was like, actually, this song is like kind of awesome. And I think people genuinely like that song. And like when Rick Astley goes and plays live and does shows now and plays that song, people love hearing it. I love hearing it. Like, even when the Rickroll was happening, it was like, it was fun to be Rickrolled. It was never like, oh, not this. It's actually a banger. Basically, yeah. Basically, it's a banger. It's a great song. I love it. It's so it is like unbelievably cheesy and cliche and of that moment, but like it's still great despite that. Now you're thinking of Darude Sandstorm because you unironically love that song. You see, I grew up when that song was on the radio, right? And that was just a cool song at the time, right? Like it was a song, it came out, people loved it. I think that one might have become a meme because my generation resonated with that song. And so like whatever the origin of it becoming a meme is, I think people from my generation would have been like, oh yeah, I remember that one. And like you get that kind of engagement because people are interested in it. Like they know it, they already like it. Whereas I think for a lot of the younger generation, it was more of like a meme first. But I reckon that's why that one popped off, because it already popped off, right? Like late 90s that song was, I think. As a child of the 80s, I can definitely appreciate it from a nostalgia perspective, but also when getting duped in such a whimsical way. Yeah, it's fun to be duped into a Rickroll, isn't it? Does anyone remember when I built that giant QR code on Hermitcraft? And it was just a Rickroll? I don't know how many people got that, but that was good fun. You think the meme was an answer to whenever someone asks for the title of a song to sing? Alright, so what should I sing? And someone's like, Darude Sandstorm. I can see how that would start and continue as well, because it's just an odd one to sing. Yeah, that kind of like, someone asked about, do I like electronic music earlier? Like, I like that sort of music a lot. It's great. I kind of don't spend time going out of my way to find any of that anymore. Is Hermitcraft a public server or nah? Nah, mate. Absolute nah. Public nah. It's a public nah. It's publicly a nah. It's publicly known that it's not public. That's how that works. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. What's going on here? Is this like a thing I didn't notice earlier? Oh, it's a whole other room. Oh, yeah, we're like lower down. Okay, yeah, we're lower down. We're lower down. It's public for the hermits, but not for the rest of us. That's true, yeah. Although I think that invalidates the public meaning, doesn't it? Publicly private. I mean, I guess you can have something that is publicly private and something that is privately private. Can you have something that is privately public? Probably. It's public, but you don't tell people about it? I don't know. Nowadays, meme song hits the algorithm and disappears so quickly, I can't keep track of anyone. That's anonymous, right? That's interesting because something one of the hermits commented on recently in a meeting. It stuck in my mind, and I think about it every now and then. They basically said that there doesn't feel like there's a lot of like cultural centers anymore where like we all gather around something and have a shared joke. And the world feels maybe a bit like more doom and gloom at the moment, but I mean, that could be because there's reasons for it to feel doom and gloom, or it could be like a symptom of the same problem. When you talk about like how a song like is just, you know, it's a meme for a minute and then it goes away. In our attention span economy at the moment, with stuff like TikTok, the attention span is really short. Maybe that's why we don't have this sense of like big cultural shared things anymore, because they just don't hold people's attention for long enough, right? What if that's the reason why we don't have as many memes going around? It also could be because, you know, yours truly just doesn't do the memes and is completely out of touch. There's another explanation, right? I don't feel like I'm in the middle of anything, but like, what about Oliel? Because I can totally get that from a TikTok perspective of just stuff comes and goes so quick. And now there isn't these big shared cultural moments anymore. Like, you know about something for a minute and then everyone's on to the next thing already. So like that algorithm stuff is taking it away from us. I miss those big shared things where it felt like we could all talk about the same thing at the same time. It doesn't feel like there's much of that about at all anymore, you know? You go chat to your mates and everyone's talking about something they saw on their feed, you know? It's like, what's in your algorithm? That's what we're all experiencing. How many did I say we needed in total? 320, I seem to recall, right? So, like, that's 128 plus that, 140? Yeah, 150 maybe? 180? We need a lot. 200, 205. We're at around 200, and we started off with a stack and a half. I think we'll get the rest of what we need out of this place, but that's going to take longer than I thought it might. I'm thankful for the diamonds. I'll take those any day. Oh, and I should put some stuff away. Oh, I only got one of these, right? I wasn't exactly looking out for them. Might have been another one we skipped. We kind of just did that one room though, so maybe not. All right, that helps pay for all that wall that I've spent on this project. It definitely feels like some things stick around, just less popular, says Wolfwatchman. Or do we just have got old and can no longer keep up with the trends? Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, my audience has come along with me a lot of the time, so I'm aware that a lot of y'all are not youngsters that are hip and fresh. I don't think Hermitcraft is hip and fresh. I think we're a bunch of old fogies now. I'm half joking and I'm half not. Which half is which? I'll let you figure that out. Yeah, I'd like to put those leggings in here. What do I take out? Maybe just the rest of the apples. I might need those later. Let's take out some pearls. Get us out of a spot of hot bother? No, a spot of bother. I don't know where the word hot factors into all of that. Chat! This is where I log out and leave you. I'll continue my adventures solo when I need to have a little bit of a break from the rest of the day, because I got things to do, people. I got to cook food, I got to exercise, I got to get on the phone, I got to do adult stuff. And then when all of that's done, I'm going to spend my music today making evening. I'm going to spend my music making evening. Very cryptic message there. What is he talking about? Why is this guy so strange with the words and stuff? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to stream tomorrow, so maybe Wednesday, but we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. I don't have a schedule. I'm not going to talk about when I'm streaming next, because we don't do that anymore. Not around here. I'm going to send you over to Pearl, who's doing some Hermitcraft. So stick around for more Hermitcraft action, peeps. I'm going to bounce. Yeah. I ain't got anything else to say. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for your amazing support, and I'll see you sometime again soon. All right, the raid is getting ready to go. Getting ready to go. So you'll be able to click on it real soon.